Thanks for coming. I got to point out the exits. That one goes directly outside. This one, where you came in, goes out to the lobby foyer. That you can get out of the building, going through there into my office and back out into the hallway. One quick thing to note is apparently we are having technical difficulties with our streaming. So the meeting will not be live streamed tonight, but it's being recorded and will be uploaded by tomorrow morning so that anybody that can't hear me from home will be able to look at it tomorrow. So because it's our first meeting of the month, we honor a resident of the month. And this month's resident of the month is going to be Joyce Soltis. So come on up, Joyce. Oops. Oh. So we selected Joyce.
Get out of the spot.
Yep. Not only because she's just a really nice person.
Thank you, Cynthia.
But she is one of the most prolific volunteers we have here in the town of Malta. She served on the Comprehensive Plan Update Committee, and it took us 3 years, I think. It was a lot of meetings, it was a lot of effort, and we think we came up with a good plan. So she served on that. She also has served for quite some time on our ethics board. She serves currently on the Historic Preservation Review Commission. She serves on the Open Space Committee. And if that's not enough, she's one of the members of the board of directors of the Malta Seniors. So Joyce, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Board members, I really appreciate this recognition. I have to say it was a true surprise. When Cynthia
wondered what I was
called me
calling
the
her
other
for.
day, I wondered what she wanted. But I'd really like to thank you. When I first was relocated up here with my company, I was told to live somewhere around an airport upstate New York. So I picked Malta. And while I was working, I traveled on business by air and car, so I really didn't have time to do much. But since I retired, I found it's a great way to learn about your community, is to do the volunteer work. So thank you very much.
Well, we're lucky to have you. And don't go too far, we gotta have a picture.
Oh, okay.
So come on over here. Don't cut on the wires. And now, of course, Kathy can't be the only one at seniors bragging. Congratulations. So next we have a presentation. We have Fern Hurley here she's the Associate Executive Director of Captain Community Human Services, which is we're going to hear all about it, but it's a really amazing organization.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity to come here and tell you a little bit more about Captain Community Human Services, but I'll also add to the introduction that I live in Round Lake, so I am also a resident of the town of Malta, so it's fun to be here presenting in my hometown. And I think we are having a little bit of technical difficulty here, so the presentation is coming up. If you didn't get a chance to catch one of the handouts as you came in over there, I'm going to be explaining Captain Services, and they're all summarized on this handout right here. So if you didn't get a chance to grab one, please go ahead and grab one now. So Captain Community Human Services has been in Southern Saratoga County providing services for almost 50 years now. We started as a very grassroots organization where people sat around a table and said, hey, we've got some problems in our neighborhood. At the time, it was issues with teens, and we need to do something about it. And so the folks that were sitting around the table determined that they would do something about it themselves. So it's really continued to be an organization for close to 50 years that engages the community in helping itself in any way possible. So we used to be Captain Youth and Family Services, and then in 2018, we merged with Community Human Services over in Burnt Hills and became Captain Community Human Services. Next one. Our mission is to support and empower people of all ages to reach their goals of personal growth and self-sufficiency and to strengthen communities. We like to say lifting people up, building brighter futures. That's our tagline. Go ahead. So the first thing that you're going to see on the handout that I sent you on the very left side is that we address hunger. So we have a food pantry located in Clifton Park. Residents of Saratoga County from anywhere in Saratoga County can use our food pantry once a month for their household. They will receive 3 days of emergency food for every member of their household when they visit us. So if there's 10 people in the household, they're going to receive 30 breakfasts, 30 lunch, and 30 dinners by coming into our food pantry. I'm not able to sort out food pantry recipients by exactly what town they live in, but in the 12020 zip code in 2024, we served over 100 households at our food pantry in Clifton Park. So that was hundreds of people that got food from us. It is okay for people to go to multiple food pantries, and we refer them to other food pantries. They can come to us one week, and they can come over here to the community center the next week, and then down Mechanicville the third week. So we help people find the food they need so that we're not their only food resource. We also do free summer meals. So last year we provided about 16,000 free summer meals to kids over the summer at various sites around the county. One of the sites is here in Malta at Malta Gardens, where we did over 400 meals for kids last summer. And we will continue to be at Malta Gardens providing meals for kids over the summer. We also provide Thanksgiving baskets and holiday food, and we have a small community garden over at our Cheryl's Lodge Outreach Center. So those are our hunger services. And we'll move on to homelessness. The thing I want to mention most to folks at Malta is that we live in Malta. One of our sites is in Malta. It is a runaway and homeless youth shelter. Its exact location is confidential, but it serves youth typically in the 13 to 17 age range who have run away from home or are experiencing some kind of familial crisis. Primarily, we get a lot of referrals from schools and police about a situation going on where it would be better for the youth to choose to come to a safe place and stay with us for a small period of time while they work things out than for that youth to go couch surfing around or to go out on the streets and try to find their own place to live. So thank you for being our home for our youth shelter now. We're in our 26th year of having a youth shelter here in Malta. We also coordinate homeless services for adults and households across 3 counties. We have a street outreach team that is going out looking for youth on the streets. The street outreach team will come to the library, the community center, and they'll go look at that tent behind Price Chopper and see if there's youth in there. So you can call us if you have a concern that there's a youth out on the streets. We place families. So sometimes families reach out to us and either A, they're being evicted, or B, they're already living in a motel. And I know you guys know from being in Malta area that we do have a lot of that in this neighborhood. So we are helping families reach permanent housing solutions with security deposits and first month's rent and supportive case management. And then up in Saratoga Springs, we have a supportive housing program for youth who age out of foster care. We have 10 apartments up there. They can come from anywhere in the county and live in our supportive housing apartments while they learn how to be adults. Next one, please. Thanks. Economic crisis. So a lot of times people call us because they're struggling. They can't keep the utilities on, the heat, the electric bill. We have resources. We work with some grants. We work with a variety of area churches in our FEAST program. That stands for Family Emergency Assistance of Southern Saratoga. So that's a coalition of folks that are all contributing in to make sure that somebody doesn't get the lights turned off or the heat turned off. We do a lot of community support programs for people in economic crisis, like providing bikes and coats and school supplies. And so if mom and dad can save the money that they would have spent on the school supplies and spend that on food or utilities, we feel it was well spent for those people in need. Go ahead, the next one. Community support. So we have the Captain's Treasures Thrift Store down in Clifton Park. We do volunteer income tax assistance at our location in Clifton Park, where you can come from anywhere. We have the Safe Harbor program, which is working to help youth who have been trafficked. Often when I give talks, people don't understand that actually really occurs in our area, but we are working with numerous youth in this county that have been sexually or labor trafficked, and we can help them try to put their lives back together after such a thing happens. We are in various schools. So I know Malta kind of has a variety of schools, but we're in the Shen District, the Burnt Hills Ballston Lake District, the Ballston Spa District, and a couple of other programs where we're providing some services right in the school. The newest and latest service that we've been invited to come in for a school is for CRPA, Certified Recovery Peer Advocates. And that is people who are in recovery themselves and have taken a certification to be a peer coach to others. And the reason we're in the schools is because vaping is a huge issue right now in the schools. One other thing I want to mention about community support, there is a transportation summit coming up in just a week. This is a community education program that Captain and other partners are doing to talk about the issue of transportation. Again, it is located right here. We're going to be over at the TechSmart Hudson Valley Community Campus North on Tuesday the 10th. From 1 to 4:30. So if you want to find out more about what we're trying to do and working on in terms of getting more better transportation initiatives throughout this part of the county, please come join us there. And we'll take one more slide here. Okay, so Captain never wanted to be a handout. Okay, that was not our purpose. So we say we don't want to just be a handout, we want to be a hand up. And so a lot of our programs are about empowering people through the Getting Ahead program to look at their own resources and chart a better path for the future. Empowering people by coming to get their GED. Empowering people by teaching them skills as a child that engage with conflict resolution so they can navigate life easier. So we have a lot of programs for teenagers on empowerment, but also on senior citizens. Our senior citizens programs, helping seniors remain in their home as they age, are the Wellness Express van and our CareLinks program, where we match a volunteer with a senior to visit them in their home, take them out on appointments, help them grocery shop, and that type of thing. The senior programs are the program that the town of Malta contributes towards. So I wanted to assure you that it's being very well utilized. In fact, of all the towns in southern Saratoga, town of Malta scores 2 on the utilization, second highest in terms of using these services. So in the 2024, 46 Town of Malta residents used our CareLinks program. Over 1,000 services were provided to those residents. And the Wellness Express van, we had 21 residents take rides on our Wellness Express vans for a total of 181 rides. So that service is being extremely well used by the residents of the town. Finally, I just want to say, most of what we do with volunteers. So all those rides and visiting seniors, it's not the staff doing that, it's community people helping their neighbors. mentoring somebody, helping someone with after-school homework help, serving people in the food pantry. Every bit of that is being done by community volunteers, driving meals and delivering them out to a motel where somebody can't get into us. It's all being done by volunteers. So if you are somebody that has helped Captain in any way, whether donating money, volunteering time, serving on one of our committees, I sincerely thank you. If you have not yet had the opportunity to donate or volunteer in some way, but you think this might speak to you, give us a call and we'll find a volunteer opportunity or a cause that is a good match for you. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, Fern. Captain is really an amazing organization that has a huge outreach to a lot of people. And it is, as Fern said, it is an organization that the town of Malta for years has supported also financially as part of our budget process. So, thanks. Any questions? Board members? Comments?
Just that it's very heartwarming to hear what you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you.
At this time, I'll ask that you stand if you are able, and we will salute the flag and have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. So I will ask for a motion to accept the town clerk's minutes from our 5:19 meeting.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next up is comments from town residents. Got a room full here. Somebody's got to want to say something.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brianna, and I live at 136 Van Arnhem Road. I'm here tonight not
End the conference.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is to authorize the Parks, Recreation, and Human Services Department to establish a separate social media site. Our handbook basically says that the town of Malta will only have one social media site, and we're finding that we're in the process, thanks to both Melissa and Kristen, of really trying to boost our social media presence. And I mean, it's working well. We've gained a lot more followers, and it's active, and people are getting a lot of information from there. But one thing is, while we've gotten, a fast-growing media presence, it's recommended by our media and website committee that we create a separate page for Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec has a huge following, so to speak, and there are different issues, different things that we want to reach out to families and people that participate in the community center for, rather than just, things that are involving the town. So it's their recommendation that we would be able to more directly target the audiences that we want to target, having two separate sites. And they'll be able to share things back and forth, so we may even get more presence in both sites as a result of having two. So we have a resolution to update our manual to let the Parks and Rec Department establish their own social media site.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. What is the cost for doing
Nothing.
this?
Free.
Free.
We're talking Facebook and Instagram.
No, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Is there someone that approves what gets posted and what it looks like, so there's a uniform look and feel to the site?
Yeah, they work together.
And you'll do the same with this site?
Yeah. Who's going to manage it for the community center? You both are? Okay. In your spare time? Two of the busiest people in the town of Malta are,
That's the way you get
well,
things
I
done.
guess everybody's busy. Look out there, 3 of them out there, 4. Wait, everybody.
Everybody out there except for the people up here. There you go.
So any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any
Aye.
Opposed? No? I mean, yeah, I'm, aye. We also, the Emergency Management Committee is requesting that we appoint 2 new members to that committee. One is Melissa Briggs, who will serve as secretary, and their secretary has stepped down, and they need a new secretary, so Melissa would be appointed as secretary. And Rick Handley, he is working diligently to try to update our emergency management plan. And it's been something that the committee's been struggling with trying to move forward with, and Rick has taken it under his wing and is working. So I'd like to have a motion to appoint Rick Handley to the committee and Melissa Briggs as secretary to the committee.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Rick, are you trying to beat out Joyce here for the most volunteer work? You're working on it. You volunteer for no, okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You will recall a couple of, I think after our last meeting, we went into an executive session and discussed a labor management issue that we are having. We are going into union arbitration. It was recommended by our town attorney that we engage outside counsel to handle that for us, because labor's not his thing. So we did interview Whiteman, Osterman, and Hannah, and they submitted a proposal that is acceptable to our town attorney. So I would like to ask that we approve the engagement of Whiteman, Osterman, and Hannah.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Cost? Is there
they're-
any cap at all, or is it just a,
They're gonna,
Hourly or-
we're gonna be paying hourly, $2.85 an hour, which I think we all agreed for
And
legal
the-
services is,
estimated hours is,
we don't necessarily have estimated hours. Nothing in here says that, right?
No, I don't think, I mean, it's an arbitration matter. In addition, we've got to pay the fee related to it, but we don't know the estimated hours in that or how long it's going to take
prep
at this
time
point.
and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I
not
don't
a-
think it's an overly complicated dispute, but at this time, we don't have an actual estimate as to the number of hours.
4 hours then.
I'd anticipate more than that just to comply with the production of records and other demands will probably be exceeding that. You're gonna have at least a day in Albany for the arbitration. So I hesitate to guess an exact amount of hours, but substantially more than 4 hours.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have two relatively, well, more than that, but two items that require budget transfers, and they are, basically, we're looking into kind of doing a rebranding, so we have more consistent branding, which also should help our efforts at reaching out to people. And the increase in computer equipment for the clerk's office. Is clerk getting new computer equipment? Monitors. So I'll entertain a motion for those budget transfers.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That concludes our action items. We do have one other item that I have discussed with the board, but we kind of, now we need to bring it back for some sort of resolution. As you know, we're building the small water system down in Maltaville. It's all directional drill, so it's underground. They found a subsurface condition that was not addressed in the original contract with Bellamy Construction. And so we've had significant back and forth between the town, the engineer, and the contractor. And we seem to be somewhat at an impasse of where we should go. Just a brief explanation. The base rate for the drill is $73 per linear foot. And what they hit was, they're calling it cobble, so it's loose. It's not solid rock. It's kind of loose rock that requires more specialized tooling to go through, and it takes longer. So it's not as quick. So anyway, we're paying for this job basically by linear foot. And CT Mail is proposing, our engineering firm is CT Mail. CT Mail is proposing a rate that's 4 times the base rate, which is $73 per linear foot. This will result in a contract increase of $68,985. The consultant is proposing a rate of $371 per linear foot. This results in a contract increase of $93,870, which is actually, well, that's the what we would be as the base rate less, or the amount less the base rate is what the changes are. One of the things to consider is that, of course, this is a project that we put together with a map plan and report. The bulk of it is being paid for by ARPA money, the COVID relief money. We did have to bond some money to pay for it, and that money has been bonded, and the ARPA money is fixed. And so we don't really have a whole lot of money to play with. A couple of things to consider is that we're constrained about how much money we can actually spend on this, because it was a map plan report and we can't change those. The map plan report is what the people voted on to decide, whether or not we're going to move forward with this project. So that's kind of in stone. There is an allowance in our contract for $50,000 which for unexpected events, which we can apply that $50,000 to this amount. The project, the DOT objected to where we were gonna have a chlorination enclosure. And so actually, we have come up with a solution where that enclosure is relocated to another place in the system. And that actually results in a savings for us because it's less pipe where it's been relocated to. And so that will save $86,000. And then we can use all or part of the bond premium, which is approximately $11,000 to offset the additional cost. So that being said, the CT mill rate, I think it makes a difference of $1,000 in all of those the savings put together. And of course, the more expensive will be more like $20,000 if we accept the proposal that Bellamy is putting out. I mean, just another thing to note in our discussions and conversations, CT Mail initially wanted a much lower rate, what they thought was fair. And, so the amount they proposed is somewhat of a compromise, as is Bellamy's originally wanted $450 per linear foot, which is the amount that is called for in the original contract for rock. And as I said before, our contractor thinks that it's not rock. Well, they know it's not rock. Their geologist says it's a little weathered rock, a little weathered shale. Those are exact words.
Well, then it should be a little cost, if
Yeah.
it's just a little this. But anyhow, I'm curious, was there any, this company, did they do any kind of core sample or anything? Why is this such a
The
surprise?
reason this wasn't found was the core sampling was done originally every 500 feet. And this length of what is cobble now is just between those. We agreed on 315 feet, which was another sort of compromise thing. So it's the length that we're paying for at the higher rate is 315 feet. It was just between the two 500. And now they've done more core sampling to decide that it's 315 feet. There was nothing apparently to indicate that there would be any condition other than shale in the entire system.
So there isn't any other surprises that we can actually plan for?
Sure hope not, because we're using the
They're a little
contingency
close.
money, yeah.
All right, so you
There
got,
may end up being additional savings in the end with other things, but we can't predict. There may be, remember when we did the original change order, we had to extend our engineering costs for the extra time because there's on-site engineering, there's an engineering overseeing the entire project. Whenever they're working, the engineer's there, and there may be some savings to that in the end. We can't really predict that yet.
all right, so everyone understands, right? We hit rock. We want to pay what, $73 per linear
No,
foot?
we want to pay $292 per linear foot. Our consultant wants us to pay $371 per linear
Their
foot.
consultant, you said?
Our consultant, CT Mail,
Our
is recommending the 292, and Bellamy is suggesting 371. And as I say, our consultant feels pretty strongly that she's
She's in the, I would say, in the ballpark of what a normal fee would be to extra drilling and not being I don't know, taking over the coals.
so that.
So what is the impact if the board does not approve this? What happens? Do they not put the line in? Do they put conditions around the line?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I expect that we may hear back from Bellamy. It's entirely up to this board, what price we're gonna accept. They're moving along on the progress, on the project now. They're still working. There's more to do. They've just kind of left this little part till we decide.
Who negotiated this contract? CT Mate or us?
Well, we accepted the contract, but basically, it was a bid, so it was a competitive bid packaging. And
Right, and CT Mail is, involved in it, and
It throws me a little bit that there was no contingency plan for a person that's drilling and hitting something we didn't expect to be there, that wasn't discussed as a possible course of action,
so there actually is, here's the thing, there is an allowance in the contract for rock. And the rock price is $450 per linear foot. And so Bellamy is saying, that they should be paid the $450 per linear foot that's in the original bid package. But CT Mail is saying, well, it's not rock. This is a condition that was not addressed in the additional, so
Finally agree, Cynthia, it's not rock.
it's not rock.
All right, it's not rock, so we're gonna pay for the less.
And Bellamy accepted.
Make it happen,
the
Julia.
contract, and they have also, and the other fact is that this project has been talked about for the last 10 years, so we have to move forward, but we can also compromise. Right, Steve?
yeah, I think that's accurate in that regard. The real issue is we're trying to, we've been heavily relied on and engaged with our engineer to, not
Multiple
only
projects.
form the contract, but to oversee the project. There's a dispute that's come up that isn't governed by the contract. While there were provisions in the contract regarding different subsurface, we encountered one that wasn't considered at the time based upon the drilling that they did and the samples that they did. So it's like a hidden defect that was unaware and not contemplated in the contract. If we aren't able to work out an agreement with the contractor, the project's going to come to a halt. We're going to have to resolve it then through contract means. This is a negotiation. I think what Cynthia's asking for is, do we support the engineer and the price? But the reality is, I think the town has been very flexible and really tried to accommodate with prior change order, with this dispute, and our backs are in somewhat against the wall. It's not even a situation of, hey, should the town pay it? But if we exceed the contract price, we have issues because of the map plan and report. And I'd have to review also with our bond counsel. So we're looking at attorney, not just fees there, but delays associated with it. And if we have to go to the state controller, because of, it's a real headache. So there's a real reality that is involved, as well as, we're trying to split the difference between the rock price and the regular price. And our engineer has worked diligently and feels that this is an accurate and fair resolution.
So if the contractor disagrees with the 292 per linear foot, what happens?
Well,
T-Mail's recommending a price, the contractor's recommending a different.
yeah, I mean, it's going to require both parties to agree. If it doesn't happen, we're going to be back trying to figure out another way to move this forward, or, whether we feel they're breaching the contract or not complying with the contract and taking a different tact.
But this isn't splitting the difference, right? This is,
No, it's not. It's based upon the engineer's review. I mean, she had a prior proposal that they rejected. As far as other alternatives, I'd rather discuss those either in attorney-client privilege than in
yeah,
public.
I'm thinking before a resolution comes to the board, it should be the final price, right?
Right. And that's actually why I'm bringing it to the board now, is, so that if we have a resolution based on what, the engineer's price or the other, and to be honest, our engineer thinks the 292 is too much. That's kind of her compromise, and again, working with Julia, it's really the maximum of what we can spend.
I think
There just isn't any money there.
I think what Cynthia's saying is like, look, the reality is, without a major hurdle, we're at an impasse with Bellamy. if we're willing to give them, this is our final and offer with respect to compromise on this, then that's what she's looking for support, which would be a resolution. The only time we're gonna have the resolution is if they agree to it, but we don't have any other room. This would be our offer. Otherwise, we're gonna be going back to the drawing board on either a more formal determination of whether they're breaching the agreement or arbitration or litigation pursuant to the contract, or going back to the controller's office and bond counsel, and I don't think there's a good answer there.
There definitely
So-
isn't a good answer there.
So the contract also that states it has to be completed by September, right?
Right, that was a change order. Originally, it was substantial completion by July 15th,
Then we
Right,
moved
right.
it.
but we gave them a change
You
order
grade to
for September 15th.
And they're still doing work, and we're still trying to
Right.
achieve that deadline. It's just,
How far are they
I'd have to,
overall?
I'm not sure, I'd have to check in with
Yeah,
Catherine.
I haven't been
They
down there in the past week or so.
Seem to be very active down there. That's,
Yeah, they're drilling the soft stuff. Goes fast.
well, yeah.
So I think
I could have told them it was shale. Right, Joyce?
So I think at this time, what she just wanted you to be aware of, that we're gonna propose a resolution that would be a change order to the contract, but she doesn't wanna propose that if the board isn't supportive of that. And so we can say, look, this is where we're at. We can't do any better than this. If not, we'll have to deal with it. But that there isn't any additional funds that we can go beyond this. And if the board is generally supportive of that, obviously we'll have to see the actual change order and get that reviewed and approved. Then we'll proceed with that path. We've negotiated as far as it can go. And if it's something the board supports, we'll move it forward. Obviously,
that
subject
Kind
to
of
all these-
be inclined to
I got about
stay with
14 questions, but I'm not going to ask them tonight.
CT Mail said.
You can call and ask them tomorrow.
All right.
Anything else? So if I can ask CT Mail to propose the change order for 292 per linear foot for 315 feet of drilling? Okay. That concludes what I have. Any additional comments from anybody out in the audience? All right, then I will ask for what?
I just wanted to make one more comment. I think many of us read about the awful fire in Victory Mills to the east of us this weekend, and I just wanted to state my profound admiration for all of this, particularly the volunteers, but also the paid responders who came. I think I read there were something like 24 different agencies, fire, ambulance, police, pretty amazing response. Terribly sad, unnecessary fire, but boy, it's impressive what happens in Saratoga County, that people pulled together and got this fire under control. And my admiration to all who do that dangerous and very important work. So I thank them.
Yep, thanks, Barb. That's certainly true, so. Anything else? No? Motion to adjourn?
So move.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, everybody, for coming out. You see, you still got nice daylight out there.